I think today when we hear red flags, we hear, "Oh, you got to get out of that relationship. You got to jet, buddy." I don't think that's the case. If I think it provides an opportunity to go deeper and to learn and hopefully resolve a red
Oh,
flag,
yeah.
turn it into a green flag rather than a red flag.
Hi, guys, and welcome back to the Journey Coaching channel. I'm Abigail.
And I'm Adam.
Today, we're going to be discussing the biggest red flags in relationships.
Your life, your journey starts now.
Friendships are complex, and there's a lot of social cues that might get overlooked, but there's a lot of hidden red flags that could be discovered. And so we found a wonderful list from Psychology Today. Full credit to them. And we're gonna talk through some of the red flags that are that they presented and see if there's any stories or insight that we can bring to the table. So the first red flag, you're gonna have to let me know if this has ever happened to you. But the first hidden red flag is that they talk badly about others in front of you. And I think this is a red flag. I'm gonna preview this. I think this is a red flag because it means they could be doing the same to others about you.
Oh, yeah. This is something I'm really interested to know is because I just know that this is 100% true.
Yeah.
Just know if someone's talking bad about other people in front of you, then they're doing it behind you. But only in the cases obviously if they're angry at you. But I want to know what they say, because if it's someone super close to you, you almost think oh, they wouldn't do that.
Right, and there's a level to it because it kind of gets into that gossip kind of format where it's like, oh, did you hear what they did? Where there's situations where you could very easily talk to somebody about something that is upsetting. Like, if I'm having a rough time with, sorry, Dylan, I'm going to pick on you. If Dylan and I are struggling in our friendship, and I come to you and I'm sitting here and I'm like, well, Dylan really did this, this, and this, and it hurt me. That's a little different than if I hear that Dylan, I don't know, Dylan overslept and missed work. And it's like, oh man, did you hear that Dylan overslept and missed work? Can't believe it. There's two different sides to that where I think one of the big red flags is if they're talking about something, they're talking badly about others especially if it doesn't apply to them. I think that's a big key indicator of it being a hidden red flag.
Okay, wait, going back to the gossiping thing, I actually just had to apologize to someone recently because I shared something that wasn't appropriate to share with with this person, and it was about another person. And that other person didn't know, but I went and I apologized to the person I had shared it with, and I was like, it was not right of me to share that information. In the moment, I literally wasn't thinking. And because also there's an aspect of that when you're in relationship with other people and you have some sort of community, these people know the people that you're talking about usually. I mean, that's why you're talking with them. They would know. And when you're breaking trust in other person's people's relationships, that's also hard because it's not just the connection you have with that one person, but that person is connected with all these other people, and so you wouldn't want to unfairly try to manipulate their point of view to dislike someone, because that's not gossiping never is the whole story.
Right. It's very one-sided, and that's a great point that you bring up about, especially in almost circles of community, where if I talk bad about Dylan to you, that's going to change your and Dylan's or your perception of Dylan, and therefore it'll change your guys' relationship, and that's something that could be harmful. If I'm bringing Dylan up, if I'm talking him up. Then that could change it for the better. But in the sense of this, talking badly about others and it being a red flag is the fact that it's almost altering and providing an unfair assessment of that person. And really, it's just secondhand info in general is hard to be reliable. It's hard to verify. So if you came to me and told me, hey, Tyler's been doing drugs outside the back of the Journey building, it's like, yeah, I'm gonna have some doubts, but it calls what I see of Tyler into question.
Yeah.
And that's where that info, not only would that be something that maybe he told you in confidence, maybe it's something he's really struggling with, but it just changes that perception and drives a barrier into potential relationships outside of just that relationship. And so it's two-sided. All right. Hidden red flag number 2 is you feel like you can't be yourself around somebody. Now, this is something that I'd say it happens all the time in my life in interactions, but it's a rarity in friendships. But it is a pretty big red flag. So, I don't know, have you ever felt really uncomfortable around friends, or have you started with a friendship and then the closer you've gotten to somebody, you become almost less confident in who you are?
I think maybe when I was younger, yeah, a lot more. Now, not so much. Also, just because it's just so much easier just to be yourself.
Yeah.
So, I think I just avoid it because that's just a principle I have.
Yeah, I think for those who are kind of developing friendships, and I think I've gotten to this point too myself, is I'm going to be who I am no matter what. And it's almost, this red flag for me is one of the first screening points of, is this relationship or friendship viable in a sense? Because if I can't be myself, if I can't be comfortable, there's no point in voluntarily spending time with this person.
Yeah, that's not enjoyable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's situations where, like if you have like a classmate or something that you're stuck in a group project with, and you have to go through, and it's kind of an unavoidable relationship. Yeah, that's something where maybe you'll have to put up your own internal walls, and you don't feel like you can be yourself around them.
But then you don't have to develop that into like a friendship, and it's just like,
exactly,
you guys are getting paid to be there, so.
Exactly. It's a situation where that's kind of unavoidable, but there's steps you can take to be more confident in who you are, and kind of limit the quote unquote impact that someone else's opinion has on you.
Yeah.
And that's a topic for a different episode. But let's get into red flag number 3. You feel drained or tired after interactions with a friend. Have you ever felt drained or tired in situations where it hasn't been like a physically demanding interaction?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sometimes people are just draining to be around.
Yeah.
And I've realized, like, there's some things, like, in life where I'm, like, this is not with friendships, but, like, there's things in life that'll drain you, like going to the gym, going to work, maybe cooking a meal. I don't know. Like, just certain things. But it gets to the point where it's, like, if you're racking up all these things that drain you and you're doing it so often, then that's really not something healthy that you should have in your life. And, like, friendships can do that. And I know for, like, me, this is my personal experience. I don't think it's right, but there have been times where I've just spent time with people knowing that they drain me, but I'm like, oh, they just drain me a little bit. Like, it's fine. But then as I'm getting older and more things are starting to drain me, I'm like, I don't want to do that.
The patience grows thin. Yeah. That is very true. You talk about different tasks or activities that drain you. There's being physically drained, and there's being emotionally drained. And the same way as if you went to the gym to work out your body, your muscles, and then they get tired. The same can be said about emotions. If you're constantly having to utilize empathy or try and fend off feelings of insecurity, you're going to be emotionally drained. And if you're spending a lot of time with those friends that do drain you emotionally, whether it's a one-sided friendship, whether they're gossiping or showcase other red flags that we've already talked about, then when you get to your real friendships or your families, that might leak over, because there are situations where you want to be emotionally available to others. And if you're constantly drained, you're not going to be able to be a supportive friend yourself.
Yeah. And I'd say that's like, I've found, because like you're going to be around people who drain you like all the time, even if they're not your friends. And so obviously building up stamina to figure out how to deal with that is important. But like the people closest to you, that like those are the people who are feeding into your life the most, and they probably affect you the most. And so having people like your 3 closest friends being people who like most of the time you don't feel drained. Like there will be times you'll feel drained because maybe you'll get in an argument or whatnot, because that just happens in relationships. No relationship is perfect, but you definitely want to make sure that it's a two-way street, and that both people are being provided with like nourishment.
Yeah, and that comes into play a lot of different ways. You got they say that you're made up of the 5 people you spend the most time with, the 5 closest relationships. And so and like you said, building up that durability to be emotionally available, that is an honorable and courageous thing to do, is especially if people are actively draining you emotionally, to be able to say no, regardless of you dipping in my bucket. I'm going to continue to be kind, empathetic, caring towards others, and be able to contribute to these relationships. That's an honorable thing to do, and that's something that is definitely worth putting the time in. Just like going to the gym to try and gain more physical strength and durability. Creating that emotional durability will help you go through the day, because there's a lot of things that will take time and energy out of your day, and so to be able to push through and persevere, that's one of the big things. So
yeah. What's our 4th?
Yeah, that was our third hidden red flag, and so our 4th hidden red flag is they tell you things that others shared with them in confidence. And so that's kind of that trust aspect.
I feel like that's also like, that's the same as the first one, or very similar, like the gossiping.
Yeah.
But that one has to be worse. That has to be worse.
Yeah. Like, because you've established trust in this friendship, and they're proving to you that they cannot be trusted because of their relationships with others.
Yeah.
Now, there is a level where people could argue and be like, well, maybe they're not friends with the person that they're gossiping about. But to the same extent, it's almost a common courtesy thing.
It almost seems like this one's in the context of they're friends with the other person. Because
why
would the other person tell them something in confidence that they would want just like someone that they're not really friends with to know?
Yeah, regardless of if they're friends or not, the other person has entrusted them the same way. If you are friends with them, you would be entrusting them as well. And so they're showing in their character that they are unable to honor that trust that you have bestowed upon them. And that's a big thing too. There's been a lot of situations where, I felt like my trust had been broken. I feel like I've broken trust in friendships. And the biggest thing to do is to be forthcoming about that. That's one of the big things.
Yeah, I've done that.
Yeah, I've had to have some very honest and brutal conversations of like, hey, I really messed up here.
Yeah.
I know there were situations where you trusted me with that, and I didn't honor that, and I just hope that you could forgive me and move forward in that situation. So it's a hard thing to go through, and building trust that is broken is a very hard and tedious task, and it's something. Obviously, the friendship is worth it. It's just there's a lot to. It takes a lot of time, you know.
Yeah.
Relative, like, it's easier to trust somebody when you first meet them than for the trust to get broken and to repave that.
Honestly, I can see that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Red flag number 5. The friendship feels one-sided or non-reciprocal. Have you ever
That's
been in
not
one
a
of these?
friendship.
That's
What?
not a friendship?
What'd you say?
I was asking if you've ever been in this kind of friendship where it's been,
I feel like
um,
I also do feel like that I've been the one not reciprocating before.
yeah.
This one's kind of a hard one because, that's definitely definitely a red flag because you want a reciprocal relationship. Sometimes it's kind of hard to find your balance,
Yeah.
especially like over time. Like, let's say you have a newer relationship and you feel like you're giving more than they're giving, or they're giving more than you're giving, and you're trying to figure out kind of where you guys, like, what's your pace for a friendship, because
Right.
everyone's different. But I think over time, if like you're constantly putting in like energy, then, and this is like a long time, like maybe like 6 months, a year, I don't know,
Yeah.
what exact time, and it's like it's not getting any better, there's not change, there's not like negotiation or reciprocation, then yeah, I'd say that's not a very good friendship. But I did this one's interesting because I did this with one of my closest friends for the first, like, I think few months to a year that when we were friends. I didn't really want to spend a lot of time with like people,
Yeah.
and it had like nothing like really to do with her, but she wanted to spend lots of time with me, so she was always reaching out. And then she was hurt because I wasn't reciprocating in that. And that's hard because like you have two different people. One, I like spending a lot of time alone, and she is like the opposite. So that's really, I don't think it's like malicious intent on either side.
Right.
That's where you like kind of figure out what's your flow.
Yeah, I have 2 points based off the info that you brought to the table. Is it kind of goes back to that emotional availability and that emotional durability, where you might be in a situation where you're not ready and able to donate that much time and effort into that friendship. Which brings me to my other point of this red flag of a relationship not being level, being one-sided, might just be an indication that you guys have two different viewpoints of what this friendship is, where it could be more surface level for one person that is not emotionally giving or doesn't feel like they should be emotionally giving, and the other person that feels like they're constantly being drained because they're putting so much effort into this friendship. They might it's an imbalance of what the friendship is, what the goals of the friendship might be, what the intent behind the friendship is, and just kind of a level of care and consideration. And so I think that comes back to a situation that has been presented a lot in friendships in general, is just you need to have an understanding of what that friendship is and what would make that friendship successful. And we just happen to have some good resources for that in the Journey workbook. This is a great resource to help kind of get on the same page in your relationship, and can help take it to, if you guys want to go to a deeper friendship level. The Journey workbook right here is a 7-session workbook that you're able to do with a friend, a potential friend, like, you know, at different stages, and you go through strengths, weaknesses, viewpoints to help gain more insight on, one, who your friend is, and two, what they are looking to get out of this relationship itself. And so we have great resources over at journeycoaching.org. It's a great resource for those who may be at one of these roadblocks in relationships where maybe this red flag is presenting, where you don't know how much to give in this relationship or how much to take, and you want to find that balance that Abigail was talking about. So this is a great resource for that. But with that being said, let's head into our last red flag, which is they belittle you in subtle ways.
I wish we had an example.
Guess what? Psychology Today has provided us with some good examples. These are some backhanded compliments that are kind of the belittling nature that they're talking about in this red flag. A backhanded compliment a friend might give. Congrats on your new job. I didn't think you would get it. You're so much fun when you actually try to relax. These are kind of boiling my blood, if I'm being honest. I hope you enjoyed your trip. It must be nice to take much time off from your responsibilities.
Wait, how is that backhanded?
I think the amount of time being taken off is what they're getting at there.
Oh.
Considering somebody lazy, perhaps. It's like, oh, you really needed 2 weeks in Bora Bora instead of 1.
I mean, if you're going to insult someone, say it to their face.
Right. And so
at least be cool about it. Like, that's such bad advice. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, you gotta sharpen up your backhanded compliments there, Abigail. But no, if this is something where these backhanded compliments or these comments just catch you a little off guard, and it kind of begs the question, well, what do you mean by that?
I've had that happen to me where someone will say something backhanded. I'll ask them, like, what do you mean by that? Because I like to talk.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I really like to talk about like arguments, and like I like to pick it apart just to see what people think and why, because I don't know, that's really where you grow in a relationship, because when you have two people who recognize that you're both imperfect, then kind of the battle ahead is a lot less scary, and so you can kind of just like, oh, what did you mean by that? And you're like, oh, I don't really know what I meant by that backhanded compliment. Maybe I'm angry at you and I need to figure out why. And so you kind of unpack that and you do it together, and then you guys grow together, and then you're better because of it. But I don't get like the backhanded compliments or the backhanded insults that don't go anywhere, that always stay in that lane. That's very annoying, and that is something that just, in a relationship where you're not talking about your problems because everyone has one, that's such a big issue. And pretending that it's not there is even worse. Yeah.
And I think it's natural to, in a developing friendship, to want to find the intent behind a lot of what people's actions are, because it says a lot about who they are. And so hearing different, and I think it's smart the way you presented it, was just trying to get to know their thought process, whether it's something they said, whether it's something that they decided to do, and just understanding kind of how they're how they operate, how they break down different thought processes. Like, that's all very important. And so that, in a healthy way, it would be good to ask, what do you mean by that? If you get caught off guard by some sort of backhanded compliment like that, what you don't want to hear is, oh, I didn't mean anything by that. And then a lot of backpedaling of like, oh, well, you're actually really, really good and not lazy at all. And it's like, oh, well, it's, like, to go back to those examples, like, oh, congrats on the job, I didn't think you would get it. It's like, oh, what do you mean by that? It's like, no, I thought it was a real tough job to get. It had nothing to do about your qualifications, stuff like that. So, but yeah. Are any of these red flags, do you think they're more red than other red flags? Is there any of those that
I think probably the last one.
Yeah.
Some of them, they're like red flags, but also like I think intention's very important.
Yeah.
You can have all these going on in your relationship and the other person not have malicious intent. I think that's something that also like needs to be thought about. Is like we all make mistakes, and like I think if these happen consistently over and over and over again, that's not good, and there's no accountability. But also having, I don't know, a little grace for just some little things. I also think that's important in a relationship. The last one, I definitely think that's no good.
Yeah.
No.
There's a lot of times when these red flags can present, and I know going through these, I've been there, not intentionally, but I've been the one that has been maybe talking badly about somebody behind their back, or breaking trust, or I can't remember, being on a one-sided relationship, not giving as much as I should, where it's not intentional, but it takes somebody courageous enough to bring that up in the friendship to be able to hopefully resolve that red flag. Because these red flags, it doesn't mean, I think today when we hear red flags, we hear, oh, you got to get out of that relationship. You got to jet, buddy. I don't think that's the case. I think it provides an opportunity to go deeper and to learn and hopefully resolve a red flag, turn it into a green flag rather than a red flag. Now, there's situations like that last one that we brought up where if you address it and their intent seems way far off and it's almost doubling down on the red flag, then you kind of get an idea of, okay, this friendship might not be all it's shaped up to be, and I need to maybe put some actions in place to protect myself and protect my emotional durability. So, but yeah, let us know if you guys have experienced any of these red flags. Again, if you want to kind of grow in your relationship and help, maybe there's a friendship that is one-sided, or a friendship that you are struggling with that you want to maybe there's a friendship that has been one-sided that you want to grow, or maybe there's a relationship you care deeply about and you want to resolve some of these red flags, then our Journey resources are a great fit for that. We have more information on those at journeycoaching.org. The link will be in the description. And with that, we thank you guys for watching.
Thank you for listening. Tune in next time and make sure you like and subscribe. Visit us at journeycoaching.org and check us out on Facebook and Instagram. Start your own journey at journeycoaching.org.
Your life, your journey starts now.